Welcome everyone to the land of the rising sun, but it ain't so sunny out today. It is Division 4, Round 7 at Suzuka, and we are in the wet. I am Taylor Molino. Join me on the desk, Bailey Kish, Austin Sawyer. How are you both doing, and what are your hopes for today's race?
Doing fantastic. Hoping to see some sun. Spice things up. Start wet, get a little sunny.
I do have news that probably won't happen, judging by just the conditions of qualifying that we have going on right now on track.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Austin, if you're here with me?
Doing fantastic. I, on the other hand, want pain and torture, flooded track the whole time. I would love to see it. I want to see how these guys can adapt and keep it on track. No chance they do, though.
Well, right now it is very wet, very moist out, but before we get into the qualifying session and hop on board with people, we're going to have Bailey take you through some of the key overtaking spots on the track.
Key overtaking spots, indeed, I shall share with the group. Just a little track walk here. Suzuka International Racing Course. Originally made in 1962. Soichiro Honda is actually the engineer. Who's also the creator of the Honda Motor Company. Wanted to design a new track in the late 50s. And his intention was to make the track just for a Honda test circuit. But little did he know that it would be one of the most popular and most entertaining racetracks ever made. After 8 alterations and adding the chicane, which is the latest update to the track, we are now currently driving the most recent Suzuka that most racing series takes over. F1, MotoGP, GT3, GT4. Just about every series races here on this circuit as of 2005. Through the track walk, this track 5.8 kilometers, also 3.6 miles, 19 corners, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Starting at the start-finish straight, you're heading down into turn 1. Kind of an odd turn 1. Turn 1 kind of stumbles into turn 2. Get a good exit out of turn 2 to set yourself up for turn 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, also known as the scurves. But a little bit of off throttle, on throttle, especially in the wet. One mistake and you're in the gravel and then possibly in the wall. So definitely want to hit your lines there. Kind of hard for overtaking as well. So play your cards right. Set yourself up for the exit of turn 7. The uphill left could catch some people out with it. It is off camber. So could see some people off in the gravel on the right or spinning into the wall on the left. If you make your way through the Dunlop curve up to corner 8, which is Denner curve, definitely want to eat that curve into turn 9, which is a downhill right. Takes you under the bridge for the figure 8, quote unquote, track section. Down to turn 10 is a slight kink to the right, which then you end up at turn 11, which is the iconic hairpin. We'll probably see a lot of overtakes there as people will dive down the inside. Kind of the earliest, I would say, overtaking section of the track. Turn 1, you can go for it, but you could do it, but turn 2 is kind of where it gets a little sketchy. Heading back to turn 11 here, definitely want to get on the power as soon as you can, as it is kind of a long turn 12 right-hander downhill. Turn 13, I have never done it myself, but also could be another potential overtaking spot. Want to be on the inside for that. 13 and 14 is the second most famous section of this track in the spoon curve. Turn 14 is a slow downhill left, sets you up for the long straight down into turn 15, which is 130R. I would say top 3 corners in the F1 calendar. Anybody disagree with that? No, maybe top 2?
I will correct you though, but on our track map it does say 130R is turn 14. Spoon is on 1 turn according.
Oh, the track I have is 13-14 is spoon. So
yeah,
my apologies. Special. I am special. I got the track map sent from Mr. Honda himself. So okay, jokes on you. Yep. So anyways,
going to the source material.
Yeah. Exactly. Quote your sources, folks. Anyways, turn 14/15, whichever one you're seeing, is 130R, the famous corner of Suzuka. Then down into turn 16, which is another, I'd say probably the most frequent overtaking section you could have on this track. With it being the long straight, those who have the more higher powered engine cars will definitely gain on that straight, so they'll be looking to overtake into 16. Then you've got that chicane that was recently added. The chicane turns into 16, 17, and 18, which is the final corner, also known as the Casio Triangle. And turn 18 can either go into the pits or you can go across the line to start your next lap.
Well, that was very informative. What I got out of that was good luck overtaking, essentially.
Yes, yes.
But
little fun fact about 130R before we move on.
Yep.
In 2002, there was actually a F1 driver who was driving for Toyota. His name was Alan McNish. Actually hit the curb in 130R and went flying into the catch fence.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Oh.
luckily he didn't die or didn't get injured. It was just traumatizing.
That's good for him as we head down on track. Looking at Pharrell right now on this very, very damp track, but we do see kind of a dry line forming just a little bit. It does look like conditions will lighten up as we go in. We are watching the Silvers out on track right now and the new drivers. If you see a silver plate, that would be our silver drivers. Red plate would be our new drivers who will be driving with the Silvers in qualifying. And if you don't know how qualifying works, well, I got you. 30-minute qualifying session, first 15 minutes happens to be our silver drivers, so unlucky for them that they get to start on a wet track. Then the second 15 minutes is our gold drivers. Ideally, they will have the better conditions unless rain picks up, but it looks like it's actually going to slow down. So, good for them. Farrell up 7/10 on his lap. Won't be improving his position at all, but will be improving his time. I'm going to throw it to Austin Sawyer. Pick out the key people that we want to be looking at this race.
Yeah, going over standings. My pleasure.
No, just the key people. Just
Too
the
early,
key people.
too early. Oh,
Too
jump
early.
in.
We'll hit standings
I
after
love
qualifying.
math.
I know. We'll hit your facts after qualifying.
Fast facts. People to look out right now on track in the Silvers.
Silvers. Yeah, let's see. People look out. So I know you're gonna say Ken Miller because he is currently the points leader. He actually set a lap and then hit. So he set a 2:17.8, and then Berta set a 2:18. So I don't know if Miller's just more confident or waiting for the line to dry, but who else you got your eye on?
Got my eye on Brule. He is Ronin Racing number 2 for Mr. Passage. So it's kind of crucial for the team standings for him to have a nice little points finish right here. So eyes on that. How about that?
If I'm not mistaken, Ronin Racing number 1 would be Passage.
Correct.
So two of them need to hike up their shorts, get some more gap in that team's standings because it is pretty close, about 21 points. But we'll hit that a little bit later as we see Rosa and O'Houlihan are off yellow flags waving there. Kent Miller now back out on track doing his warm-up laps, and we're watching Brule, who is currently setting one of his blazing times, 8/10 up. That line is starting to get a little bit more dry as we keep going on, constant cars driving over it, all that fun stuff, but these curbs still look a little bit moist. Oh, a second and 2/10, just trying to, maybe cast or curse him here. I know Bailey's trying to keep everyone's names out of his mouth because of 1 week that happened, but
Yep.
we can't dodge it. So if it happens, it happens. Just like Menzies spinning out there on that turn.
Not my fault.
The camera's on him, so I blame you.
I will tell you what, though. Ken Miller coming out, doing a 2:17 is actually a blistering lap.
He is, but actually he is under a yellow flag right now. Like, you have him in your picture-in-picture window next to Mr. Bailey Kish watching, just letting cars by. That is a very fast lap. He should be able to go fast here now that the line is pretty much completely dry. I mean, Brule is absolutely blistering his lap. 2 seconds and 8/10 up. Coming down in the last turn. Don't think it would prove him too much, but it will be enough just to get him above P6. P7. It will give him P6 though. It will start another flying lap. So we jump on board Maselli. The 1.5 up on their time, looking to try and jump Allen right in front of him, as Allen is now yellow flag. So he having a lap for this time could jump him right here.
McGinnis also up 1.5 on his time.
So
As we're past the banker point, so we're looking for some heaters.
Yeah, we are. So speaking of banker point, Austin, how important is it for cars now at this very moment to get on track and absolutely set that time?
Unless you're trying to do a last of first challenge, it's probably pretty important.
Wise words.
Wise words. We saw Ken Miller go out and set the banker lap right away in the wet, but he's come out now. I guess he saw that dry line finally come out. So he will be starting his lap soon, if I'm not mistaking this track map.
They're doing a pretty good job at spreading out. I know that spray is deadly.
Oh, the spray will be horrendous in the race. If it's anything to go off practice race, you cannot see the car in front of you. Ooh. Miller getting all out squirrely there. Still up on his time, but all that time just going to slowly bleed away, little by little, but he will be able to recollect it, gain enough time, and be able to set an even faster lap next lap because of all that time lost in turn 2. It's very easy to drift some of these cars right around turn 1 and 2.
A lot of people improving. That means the track is drying up,
green.
I guess.
Correct.
All green.
Speaking of improvements, Burtis is a second up on his time.
Casually.
That will catch out Miller, but Miller did have a mess up in turn 2. So he will have to go back around, but he is also improving his time. Looks like we're about to have a silver shootout with about 2 minutes 45 seconds left in the session for the silvers. Then after that, we'll move on to the golds.
Where is this flying?
He is 2nd and 7/10 up right now. Coming down the 130R. Could be a make or break corner. Definitely a lot of spins will happen here in the race. Maybe even right now. He looks to be clean with it. Up 2 seconds now in his time. Good braking point down into the chicane. Able to just munch on that curb just like any other car can do currently.
That's an absolute flyer from Burtis.
The exit could have been better out of the chicane, but that's very nitpicky. 2 seconds and 2/10 will put him P1 on your provisional pole. And Ken Miller right behind him, a second up on his time. And then Menzies behind Miller, a 2nd and 2/10 up on their time. Don't think Miller will have enough to give to beat Burtis on this lap, but he will be able to set another lap. Try and make up a good bit of time in that first turn.
2 shots to make a break.
I think you have about 1 shot now, to be honest.
I think
Well,
that's correct.
like total for this session is what I'm saying is everyone's having about 2 shots to have it.
Yes.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Which means
Good.
the track is ramping up for these gold drivers.
Oh, and Menzies drifted out wide, will be invalidated, so that'll be their last lap of the session, finishing provisional P2. If Miller can't improve, and he doesn't look to be improving at all, not sure what happened to him. Bailey, you were watching him.
I was. It looks like he's just kind of losing it a bit, not really prepared for the dryness of the track.
Kimball, who was a 2nd and 4/10 up on their time, goes out wide. Santer now a 2nd and 2/10 up on their time. In your picture-in-picture window. Oh, psych, you are now watching.
Taylor, we can't be doing this. We can't be doing this.
Zoe, 5/10, 6/10 up. Lots of times going. So it looks like the top 5 are going to be currently locked in place unless Burtis can improve very rapidly in this last section of track. And Santer wants to be able to jump someone with the time he's got. He's only going to be able to jump P4. And even then, P4 has been Jack Patch with a blistering time for himself. 2:19.3 puts him provisional P4 right now. And he is improving, and he can take this lap. Everyone that finishes the lap now in silver will be done. And golds are actually on their way out of the track. Jack Patch will be our last silver driver. Santer improving by 2 seconds now coming out of the chicane. Not the greatest of exits, actually bleeding off a couple tenths. We'll cross the line. E4, just in front of Patch.
Connor Farrell's up 1.92 seconds.
Wow.
Flirting. I'm cursing him. I'm cursing him. As his time goes down, I'm cursing him.
This track is getting absolutely blistering fast as that line is drying. You can kind of see it on your screen here. Not a whole lot of drying, but it's still dry enough to find the grip. And even in about 10 minutes, we should see even less rain, so that line's going to practically be dry by the end of the session.
Exactly what I was hoping for.
For qualifying, sure, we can see that, but for the race, we want carnage. We want to see a wet track.
Death and destruction.
Exactly.
Please.
This track was coined to be one of our most challenging and technical tracks of, I believe, the season by our very own Tyler James. So even he is not having the greatest time.
From what I heard, he's fighting for last in D1 silver, so or D1
That's
gold.
huge. That's huge.
So, not calling you out or anything, just letting the people know.
Farrell going through the chicane. That's a very deep line in the first turn. Actually loses a few tenths off of that. Will it be enough? Can he keep it in to at least jump Patch? If not, Patch is looking at a P5 finish. He didn't have the greatest of exits out of the chicane either. Farrell jumping Patch by just a few hundredths of a second. Patch not able to improve at all, so they will stick P6. So it's Burtis, Menzies, Miller, Santer, Farrell, your top 5 for silver. Gold is coming around. Durbin Legacy leading our first gold lap, it looks like.
Also our previous race winner.
That is true. Great interview, by the way, as well.
Man of many words. Is
Yeah,
what
many
I'd like
words.
To say.
And get him to shut up.
I know.
No, we could not.
He's out today. Team McLaren for him. I say a blistering lat as that track is now dry, so should be more to his liking than normal. Especially with that McLaren grip. Or downforce, sorry.
Yeah, there's no grip anywhere.
Yeah, it's dry line. What do you mean? So now we hit the crossover point. Austin, who are your key watches on gold drivers? Since we asked you for your silver, now we're going to ask you for your gold.
Austin's golds to watch. Practice race last night. It's all about keeping it consistent on track. I think Durbin and Sarver both finished top 10 with the D3, D4 split. So I would say consistency is king. So watch out for those guys. Pace doesn't always win.
That is true. And if there's anything we know about Durbin is that he had the pace at the beginning of the season, not the consistency. So let's see if he got it up. Got that stat. Put his attribute points into that stat. Currently, he is playing a pretty good banker lap, I might add. Nothing to really write home about, but banker lap nonetheless, I believe. He rounds out 130R coming up on the final chicane. Electing not to take as much of that curb in the McLaren. Taking that exit curve might mess up your traction there. These curbs are still moist despite there being a dry line. Durbin Legacy will put his car P1 for his banker lap, 215 flat, and will be improving right away in the next lap.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see a lot of these golds drop these silvers down just due to track conditions and track improvements.
Ruzik setting a banker of 219.7, so that puts him P10. Lucas Lanceris sets a 215.2, 2 tenths behind Durbin, and is improving rapidly on his time as well. Passage now puts in the fastest lap of a 2:14.9, a tenth away from Durban Legacy. Gonna be a three-way shootout.
I think it's going to be more than 3.
We still have a couple golds across the line. We want to see Ruzik up here. There's Sarver coming in at P5. 2:16 flat, second off the pace, but nothing to sneeze at right now. Legacy takes that hairpin extremely wide on exit, but it seems to be working for him, but he did.
Oh. Lucas teleports back to the pits after something must have happened. I missed it.
Maybe if he just pulled off, maybe he needs to adjust some of the tire pressures. He just ran out of fuel for one lap.
Potentially.
Durban Legacy 5/10 up on his time. What we got on your screen, Billy?
Got a Ryan Passage right now who's flirting with a giant improvement right now, up 5/10.
Must have had a little mistake in that hairpin the last time around. Legacy struggling to keep it on track, using all of that curb on the exit of 130R. Doesn't really look good on the timing tables for him. Again, electing not to take that inside curb, but electing to take all of the outside curb, even the grass. So this is going to mess up his exit, so he will bleed down probably a tenth at least off this time. He will, for the time being, though, put it provisional pole in front of Passage with a 2:14.7, but Passage is 3/10 up on his time already.
He just got to stick 130R here, which I'd say he does a pretty good job. Improving a little bit down into the chicane. Hit your braking point.
Car in front of him, Roberchard is up on his time. About 6/10 and an even better exit than his last lap. Yellow flag, Zach's side. Roberchard puts a P11. Passage will put this P1 not less than a tenth away from Durban Legacy, who's not making up any time on his time. Green up 3/10 on their time. Out here in the S's. The most scary part of the track for me, at least in the Audi.
For me, it's whenever you leave the pits.
Same.
And then to the end of the race. That's about it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Not much. Not much. Yeah.
I mean, the general consensus with this track, what I find is it's either an absolute monsoon or it's a dry line the entire race, and there's no in between. Right now, if qualifying session is anything to go off of for the next day's race session, there will be an absolutely dry line the entire race.
That's bold of you to say.
Yeah,
we'd love a proper wet race. Like we've just kind of been RNG godded, RNGesus. Not in our favor.
Green is up 9/10 on their time now, and I see Unda in the background up 6/10 on their time. Your qualifying leader is not setting anything good currently. Durban is flirting with making up time, but I don't believe he will be setting anything high unless he comes up to a point where he messed up. He actually will cross the line. He actually will put this on pole here in front of Passage, but only by 1/100th of a second.
Oof. And
That's
Steven
close.
Sarver's up 8/10. That could put him past Lucas here.
Green is up a second and 2/10. That could put him past Unda, possibly Rigatoni.
He's up a second already. He's got another minute.
Insane, coming down to 5 minutes left in this session. Green puts it P6, actually jumps Menzies. Lanceris 8/10 up on their time, and they're only at the hairpin right now.
Exactly. It'd be a shame if we cursed him.
Would be a shame.
Oh.
Who'd we curse?
Lucas. He lost like 5 tests.
Look, he's fine. Look,
He's coming back up.
He's still
He's
a
fine.
second up.
He's
That
fine.
is a
He's fine.
that is a provisional pole time right now. Despite looking at Durban Legacy's improvement of 9/10 currently, not sure where that came from all of a sudden, but he is up now a second on his previous time. Lucas is going to have to put some pedal to the metal right now as Durbin Legacy puts in even more time on his Delta. 2nd and 4/10. He's going for a 213, boys. Possibly 212.
Potentially. He's still got a lot of track left.
He does. Passage not improving at all, though, so this does look like a free provisional pole for Durbin Legacy right now as we come down to 4 minutes less in this session. Lucas Conceres getting a pretty good exit out of that turn, gaining no time but not bleeding it either. He will put this car right in front of Passage and Durbin for the time being. That is a 214 flat. With Durbin Legacy coming up behind him up to the chicane, a 2.5 up already. And Rigatoni is also 0.6 up. A whole lot of track left to improve on. Gains another second that will put them ahead of Conceres, not Durbin Legacy, if he holds this improvement. He does. 2:13.2 is the new time to beat. 0.8 away from Lucas.
Just like we saw the first round, is like the last 2 laps you get setting some bangers.
The line is drying. The rain is getting lighter. These are some insane gaps, though. Although the car we needed to see at the front of the pack today was Ruzik, sadly down in P13 right now. Don't believe they will be improving a whole lot either. Can't find it together in that Honda on this wet track at Suzuka.
Feel you.
Austin, how is the Honda feel for you around this track?
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Sound like
It
you
definitely
do.
doesn't slide out at all, ever.
Watching Rigatoni make up no time in the chicane, actually bleeding time out. 4/10 up will be enough to put them ahead of Green, put them P4, but not enough to get them into the top 3. Lucas Conceres in your picture-in-picture window.
It's going to be close.
Yeah, he is up
Almost.
a second, and he only needs 8 3/4 tenths, so...
He holds his time. He will be provisional pole. Durbin Legacy is not improving at all. We are coming down to the final laps. So...
Oh, and Lucas goes deep.
This is going to bleed off a ton of time right there. And just
Oh,
as we
damn.
predicted, it is.
Yep.
Curse.
0.8, 7/10 now. You might as well just gear up for the next lap because you'll most likely only have one more here. You will only have one more, so anyone that crosses the line will most likely have one more lap unless they are absolutely Superman and just fly it around this track. Lucas Conceres puts it a 10th away and automatically improving right off the bat. He needs to do that all the way around track. Durbin Legacy not improving at all. We'll have one more lap to do something with it. Ryan Passage is 5/10 up on their lap. Not looking to jump anyone, just improve their time currently. Needs to make up a whole lot of time coming down to 130R. We look into the backfield as well, just peer back there. Unda is up a second on his lap. But we want to be focusing on this top 3 battle as Passage gain time all the way down here, the 130R. And he stick it cleanly. He doesn't do the best. He actually comes in a little too sharp, it looks like. Trying to make up all that time in the final chicane. 0.8 now is the make up time. Not gaining anything. Looks like he will just be sitting in P3 for this race, but he will have one more lap to do something.
As now everybody is almost improving as we look down the running order here.
Sarver's looking to hop a couple places here. 5/10 up.
Passage.
That will put him top 5 if he completes
There
that.
you go. P5.
Passage will be ending his session there, most likely out of fuel. You have Lucas Conceres in your picture-in-picture Durbin Legacy on your main screen, who does not look to be improving a whole lot. Lucas looks to be improving more than Durbin, so this could spell provisional pole for Lucas.
He just has to complete the last chicane.
Anyone that crosses the line now, session will be over for you. Durbin running wide on the exit
Oh,
as
so
soon.
much time.
I believe
Yeah,
that will
Lucas.
be pole for Lucas as he crosses the line ever so slowly.
Clutch or kick moment, right?
Clutch or kick. 2:12.6. Durban Legacy not improving enough by 5/10 unless he can gain it all back here in the final chicane. Is only a 10th up. Doesn't look to be gaining a whole lot there. He is gaining though, but not enough. So Durban Legacy will stick this one. P2 Sarver improving on his lap in the background. Durban Legacy spins the car for fun. Sarver coming up on Spoon, up by 5/10 currently. Now 7, now 8, now 9.
Oh, he's
Oh, he invalidated. Top 5.
Good effort.
Good effort. Top 5 will be Lucas Clanceris, Durban Legacy, Ryan Passage, Rigatoni, and Sarver. Can't wait for that spray to occur. And while we have the time and wait for the drivers to do their thing, now it's your time, Austin, for the drivers' standings.
Oh, I was waiting all quality for it. I've been using my calculator all day. Round of applause.
Give about
for...
4 or 5 minutes.
So, Mr. Passage, Ronin Racing #1, clinched it. He did it. He doesn't have to score any points today or next weekend. He wins. So, I spoke with him earlier. He is definitely doing a shoey. So, if he doesn't, we have to all give him crap for it.
I heard it's like a subtraction of 600 points. Is what I've heard.
I heard it's an actual ban.
It's actually a ban from the server. I wish. But yeah, no, he's clear Ruzik by a whole butt ton of points. And if Ruzik even gets max points this week and next week, will not be able to catch up to Mr. Passage. For our gold drivers, kind of the same story for our silver as well, just domination from Mr. Ken Miller over Connor Farrell. Did the Omega Brain math on this as well. Miller needs a 24th place finish to secure his silver driver championship. Team championships, different story. It's actually pretty close. Your kind of top 4 teams are going to be duking it out, so we don't know what's going to happen. That's why I shouted out Mr. Steven Brule. I think he joined Passage the last couple weeks as a silver driver. So I remember my championship where I needed my second place guy just to get like 1/16th finish. I was like, come on, just get a couple points and we can do really well. So I feel for you there. What do you think can happen in the team standings?
Yeah, and that is a 66-point gap from P1 to P4 in the team standings. So anything's up for grabs, at least team-wise. Seems like everything's settled out driver-wise, and we still have yet to take off the warm-up tires. So who's ready? Because it looks to be a very, 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 very wet day on track right now.
It's all mental.
All mental. The rain is scheduled to come down lighter in about 10 to 30 minutes, but that is a...
It's raining though. We're happy. We're happy. We get a wet race.
It is raining, and it looks like it does not look to be letting up as Lucas Clanceris kind of spun his tires away, drifted away.
Well, we got an hour wet race. What are you looking to do over an hour? Are you looking for fast laps, consistent laps? Are you looking for to live?
Don't die. Don't die.
Yep.
Don't make the stupid mistake that's going to end up blocking the entire track.
And ultimately end your race.
Yes.
As especially with these team standings, the front guys probably can't afford any of these mistakes.
Every point matters still, probably up till next week, because even with the gaps that we have today, they most likely won't gain a ton. Unless you're finishing 1-2.
Got some dicey races to finish the season. Wet Suzuka, then Coda.
Dark.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Coda.
Anything can
Time Coda. No one's going to be able to see the
Is this planned? Is this planned?
Planned. The scriptwriters have been hard at work. So.
Illuminati confirmed.
Yep. Alex is asking, where's the tractor and trap? Too soon?
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta do lap 1 first.
Yeah. And then we have to sit here for about 2 hours.
Hard pass.
Then we can go racing again.
Yep.
So who's ready to stay up till midnight?
Nope. See you tomorrow.
That was such a terrible race, Formula One.
It wasn't the best one, I'll say that.
Now imagine winning a world championship off of that.
Yeah, that's poopy.
When that commenter was like, "Wait a second," and then Leclerc was just like, "Guess I'll die."
Yeah.
I
Where's
mean,
the fun?
don't miss your
Yeah.
braking point until the last chicane and then proceed to block someone.
True.
We should get Super Max plan.
Exactly.
He's 30 seconds ahead of everybody.
Where's Doug to sing when you need him?
Don't say that.
I don't
he'll
know.
Join.
I think he's probably racing Tyler for last place.
That is true. That is true.
We say his name 3 times as he appear.
He might. he has.
We'll wait till he spins out. We'll wait till he spins out, then he'll probably say hi.
There we go. Drivers are rounding out through Spoon to get down the 130R. We should see them going double file, and the brake and tire warming will cease. And we will see the absolute chaos of the spray. I know it doesn't look terrible from up here, but from down there, it will look bad.
We can do a little bit of onboards once we get past the first couple of corners, just so people can kind of tell what we're talking about.
Picture in picture will have that for you.
Oh, okay. Got something to do now.
Because I guarantee there will be non-stop fighting up until the hairpin.
At least the hairpin.
At least.
As the hairpin is a great opportunity for overtaking.
And to die.
And to die.
True.
Wait, every turn is.
I was about to say that was once you start turn 1.
I just hope we get a clean first lap.
If you're
That's all I
looking,
hope
just
for.
look in the picture-in-picture window right now. That's just the spray.
It's a
of
little
everything,
foggy.
so-
It's a little foggy.
A little foggy. Drivers rounding out through the chicane. There was kind of a dry line there. A wee bit.
I don't know. I
Wee
don't
bit
know
of a
what you're
dry line.
watching, but
Look down the middle of the track. There's a wee bit of a dry line.
That looks terrible in the picture-in-picture, the onboard.
Looks awful. As we are about to go racing here, as Clanceris will be our lead driver, taking the inside. Personally, I do not want the inside going into this next turn, but
I
he will
think
be
the
taking it.
safest place is to be last.
Oh,
Personally,
careful. But they are off to the races. Lucas Clanceris getting a good start, going to be able to drive all the way over to Durban Legacy. Elects to stay that inside. Durban Legacy coming out on the inside, not going to do it. Choose to pull out. Passage coming up the inside. There was a yellow flag there briefly. Passage not getting the best of exits. Still too wide in the back. Going through the S's. Going to let this pack of 3 up ahead just kind of take a head. Rigatoni Sarver straightening out. Still too wide in the back from 6, 7 to 8, 9. Unda trying to hold off this spot. Does have the inside line here. Just barely. There is contact. Unda not able to hold the car together. He is on the grass now. He will have to wait to rejoin as Green coming up, defending on Burtis here. Down to this very hard braking zone. You want to take all the curb on the inside. Looks like they will just slot in line and nothing will happen. Everyone seems to be sliding in line right now. Lucas building the gap on Durban Legacy, and Durban Legacy building the gap on Passage. No one going to go for the dive here in the front pack to the hairpin.
Passage drive-through.
Ooh. We'll get on that shortly. Burtis not able to get the best braking point. Ken Miller going extremely wide, actually off into the grass, allows Ruzic to come in and overtake that spot. Miller will just concede that. Everyone looks to kind of mellow out as Santer is now approaching Shepard.
Lucas spins.
oh Lucas, yep,
Oh,
Lucas spins.
no.
I got the replay.
You
We're
get
gonna
that
go back.
replay as we're watching Sky and Farrell going side by side into Spoon. Farrell going to back out of this one. Sky actually misses the breaking point, goes wide. Can he hold it together? Very wiggly out there. We'll give that position to Lucas. Sky choosing to not rejoin just yet. That will give the
Ooh,
position
you
to
hate to
Robert
see
Schroeder
it.
and Patch. Kimball coming out behind. Might be a little bit unlucky there, but we'll go side by side down the 130R. Who will back out here? Kimball does have the speed to overtake Sky here down on the straight. And looks like he will do so. It doesn't look like any of them are backing out currently. Kimball going ahead. Sky backing out. We'll just try to take this line slot right back in. And we're still going side by side through 130R. And Compton missing his breaking point into the wall. Not what you want to see. Gives the place to McGinnis.
There's no stopping that car.
There is more contact in the back, and O'Houlihan into the wall after making contact with Aoki. I believe that was there. Not Aoki, my bad. Absolute chaos. Compton now off in the chicane, and there's more carnage in the pit lane. Aoki and O'Houlihan, I think, contacting with each other all the way to the back. That was an absolute blistering lap 1, might I say, and it's still not over because they are still trying to go 2 wide side by side through the S's. Santer fighting on Roderick. We'll just give this place up. Santer actually going wide into the grass. We'll give the place right back to Roderick's. Wow.
I love it. Anarchy.
I mean, we predicted it. It happened.
I'll tell you what though, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, all clean. Turn 6, that's when it kicked off.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Kimball coming up on Patch. He's actually looking to dive on the inside here. We'll choose to back out. Patch is going to take this one off. We'll just slot in behind. So what happened to... wait, hold on. I see Burtis off into the grass. What happened to Burtis? I don't see damage on their car. But he does just scrape the wall a little bit. Gets a little bit unsquirrely on the brakes. So what happened to Ryan Passage Austin?
He took his drive-through.
Okay. As we are now
served it.
We're watching Fawn in the grass. Gonna have to let all these leaders by now, and Passage now gonna have to make another comeback drive just like he did practically every other race. And Miller on the back of Ruzick coming down the 130R. Miller sticks his nose out, choosing not to take it. Playing mind games with Ruzick. I don't see him overtaking this lap.
We got a good battle. 2 and 3 Rigatoni on server.
Yeah, I got that in the picture here.
Yeah. Picture in picture, because Ryan Passage is approaching Lucas Clanceris, and they are fighting down the 130R. Clanceris down on Unda in the 130R. It doesn't look like Lucas was able to stick that one. He actually did. Good on him to stick it to the outside. Unda went out, got died by Passage on the inside. Unda takes out Clanceris, causes a big wreck in the hairpin, the chicane.
Oh, guys.
Get this one on replay from Unda. Just missing the braking point, going straight into the back of Clanceris. Spinning them both out. Ryan Passage having to take to all of the curb. Hate to see that. Ken Miller is still on the back of Ruzick. Ryan Passage now needs to make up all that time lost I just witnessed in front of him. Up to McGinnis. Should be able to get him here, as Passage is a very fast boy compared to all these P20 people currently. But what happened on your start that you saw that I didn't get?
There really, turn 1, I mean, like I said, turn 1 to turn 5 was actually really clean. There was a lot of side-by-sides going on. Everybody leaving space. It was actually really well, but once they got past that first section there, that's when everybody's starting to get a little aggressive and started kicking off.
And it looks like it still is. A lot of people having trouble just keeping the car on track right now. Ryan Paz actually approaching Allen and Fawn, who are having that issue. They might look to be battling each other here shortly. Passage really wants to get by. Allen is obviously faster through the hairpin. Allen not taking the best of line either. Passage will just have to settle in and just hope to God. Allen very slow. Passage almost running into the back of him. I mean, down into Spoon. Allen will just give that spot to Passage. I see a wreck right in front of Lorenzo and Rosa. What happened here?
Lorenzo had such a good start, too.
Oh, Lorenzo just lost it in the grass, and Rosa got collected from it. Luckily, no damage to either car, but you hate to see it, especially if you're Rosa, who's just a bystander and all that. Lucas Consleris getting past McGinnis, who was twerking it on the grass. We are not even 10 minutes in. We've had an amazing race as Menzies tries to dive. Ruzic collides on each other, takes both of them out. Menzies stuck in the center of the track, not the place you want to be, actually causing mayhem for everyone else around him. It looks like Farrell actually spun because of that. It's still all popping off. Farrell not in the most ideal spot. Actually, I'm pretty sure he was on the racing line there where he was spun. Menzies still trying to get his car together, and there's more collision. Brule actually goes into Ryan Passage after getting rear-ended from someone else.
Oh, there's a bigger wreck. Oh no, we're gonna go back.
You go back for that one.
We got a couple of cars involved here. It's the aftermath of that turn 1 accident. Oh, Passage, Lucas, Rosa, sorry.
Again.
Not been a good race for your points leaders overall right now.
Shout out to chat. Pav with, I'll take what is patience for 500, Alex.
Non-existent. Yeah, not even 10 minutes in. It's absolute mayhem. You can definitely see all the reports coming in. Look at that damage. My car in the picture-in-picture.
It's definitely been through the ringer.
Oh,
and
Lorenzo!
Oh.
Almost diving Allen. Allen actually diving on Kimball, not able to get the move done. Lorenzo almost took out Allen.
And Lucas teleports to the pits. Something tells me he's
car 115. I don't know.
Not wanting to be here as Compton looks to have spun out his car. Luckily, no one around, but that is a lot of damage, and that is not good shit, as the front of his car says.
Oh, Burtis goes deep in the chicane.
It is mayhem out here. Don't worry, guys. The rain's gonna clear up here in about 30 minutes. We'll be fine. But
If they can make it that long.
Lorenzo sticking his nose out on Allen down to 130R. Not gonna be able to do so. Allen really just holding up Lorenzo. Been all over the back of him here.
We got Compton and Lucas in the pits.
Oh, Lorenzo all over the back of Allen. Needs to get by him. McGinnis actually showing a yellow flag, and there's more carnage in the back. What happened here? Unda on McGinnis. Unda's going to take that hard dive. Sticks it, but McGinnis getting a little squirrely. Right into the side of Aoki. Micah gonna take the brunt of that. Passage luckily able to hold on to the brake. Not do it as Burtis and Santer are going side by side. Burtis will get all of that. Santer just slots right back in behind him.
F's in the chat for car 115. He has left the building.
Has he left?
Yep.
Oh no.
3 spins. Plenty of damage, I'm sure.
Not what you want to be. Ryan Passage has quite a ways to make up. He's P23 right now. He does have some damage on the front of his car, it looks like. He's actually going to try the inside line here on Maselli. Gonna take some of that grass, so we'll back out of that one. We'll just slide right back in, hoping to get him next time. If you're watching the battle of Zach Sky and Robert Shard.
Sure am. And Connor Farrell has a yellow flag. Oh, and he's still going.
Oh, that might be Farrell's race over.
Just lost it on the downhill right.
You're doing that. Zach Sky had not the best of exits down the 130R.
Boys, how many cars are we going to have on the lead lap here at the end of this race?
3.
Wow.
One.
Sky trying to go for the dive on the outside, not able to get done, but Robichard does go deep, so Sky is lining this move up perfectly, coming onto the back of Robichard, not able to get the move done, but we'll have this slipstream down in turn 1, gets a little squirrely on that wet line. Will he go for the dive in turn 1? He does have the speed for this. Nose does poke out here. Can be late on the brakes. Robichard taking the faster line around the outside. That's a very wide line. That curb is compromising for the turn. Zach Sky still on the inside, holding it very cleanly. Robichard will just tuck him behind, it looks like. Actually, no, he's coming right back into the S's, and Sky will be the one tucking in. Good defending from Robichard to hold that one off. Menzies spins it right behind them. Actually runs his back into the wall.
We got a tight battle here for P17 with Alan Fong, Unda, Aoki.
Need you. As Kimball is off in the grass ahead of them. Gonna give that spot to Lorenzo. This opens the door for Menzies. Catch up on Kimball.
And Austin Brewer, you were talking about who you were hoping to help. Wow, I'm struggling.
Passage in the standings.
Passage, yeah.
Yep.
They're struggling right now. P21 and P23.
Now I know who's not struggling somehow. Urban Legacy
Duncan.
has that 9-second gap. So clean air in a McLaren when it's raining, always a good sign. As long as he can keep the clean air, I think he'll be fine for pretty much the rest of the race. Zach Sky going faster down 130R than Robichard. They will be side by side going through this turn. Will anyone back out? Zach Sky trying to hold that power, but I don't think he has it. Robichard will have this turn, but Zach Sky still holding the inside. Robichard going very wide, having to bring the car all the way back in. Still side by side. Sky is taking the outside line here. Robichard will dive the inside. Both of them holding their positions currently. Zach Sky goes a little bit deep. Does still have to hold the inside. He gets it done. Not going to have the ideal line here out to the main stretch. It is a little wet out there. Jack Patch now joining the cause, following Sky through here to try to overtake Robichard. I mean, down to turn 1, they will still be side by side. Jack Patch able to get the move done on Robichard. Zach Sky will be your overall winner in that one, as he will lead this pack now.
Yeah, we got a tight four-way battle here as Passage has entered the chat.
Whenever Passage enters the chat, it's always a tight battle. Menzies coming up on Kimball. Kimball not looking very confident in that Honda right now. So Austin, what have you been seeing around track that we haven't been seeing?
I was watching the front for a little bit. I was seeing Rigatoni make a bunch of headway onto Sarver until turn 1 happened.
For them,
Went a little wide. They're sliding around.
every car seems to be having issues sliding around, especially if you're not on the racing line. There is that little dry line that has formed just to give you enough grip to not make your car wiggle. Sorry. Excuse me. But the second you go off it and you put too much gas into it, you are wiggling a lot.
We got Compton chilling in the sand.
Menzies taking an extremely wide
Taking his
line.
time.
Kimball very shallow. Menzies will have the run out here down into the turn before Spoon. We'll be able to get the move done. Actually, Kimball going off into the grass here. So, easy dozer for Menzies. No, everything's kind of subsided except for your battle in the picture-in-picture. That's still absolute chaos right there. As Allen on Unda.
Unda just drops it. That's tough. Oh no, they collided.
There
Him
was
and Allen
contact.
collided.
Kimball now has a yellow flag off in the grass. There was contact there. Passage being your overall winner out of that. Again, you have literally everyone in that formation.
Fong goes deep into the chicane.
Harris goes deep into a hairpin. Rosa approaching Mistelli. Battle for P24 right now. Mistelli actually goes too deep. Has to take the escapes bird. Those positions should just be given to Rosa, and it will be. Rosa gets a position scotch free.
We take those.
We do. Robert Shard is on the back of Jack Patch, as you can see in your picture-in-picture, trying to avoid a blue flag there. It looked like Allen now causing a yellow flag somewhere. Like he was just off in, they were just off in the grass. Jack Patch doing very well so far this race.
Yeah, it's good to see him in the front here.
It is. Normally he's kind of tail end back 20 or so. Kind of refreshing to see him top 15 right now.
He has been putting in the practice, so the practice has been paying off.
He has been. His passage on Kimmel. Kimmel taking that entry line to the hairpin very wide, actually sliding, missing the breaking point, putting him out wide. Free position for Passage and Aoki. And Aoki will just be following Passage all the way around. Just want to take a look on the inside of Aoki. Getting all that spray from Passage. It does not look good. As Passage actually going wide here. Is able to hold the position though, but will Aoki have time gained? Aoki's actually going extremely wide on the exit of Spoon, so no time gained for either car. And we'll just slot right back in with each other. That is our closest battle on track right now. Your leader, Durbin Legacy, has an 8-second gap to Sarver.
Yeah, he's been kind of slowing off the pace here. Not, oh, I can't really say that because his fastest lap was, or his last lap was 0.5 quicker than Sarver and Rigatoni. So
Might have been some blue flag trouble in the lap before, but
might have been, but he was losing like 1.8 seconds there at one point. So
see what happens as we go through. And Ken Miller has a yellow flag. He is off on the run up to the hairpin. What happened to him? No one around him. Might have just lost it on the curb. Took too much curb.
oh yeah, he came in quick.
Too much curb, too fast. Is able to hold the car, so no damage for him. Should just be able to pull out and get her going again. They will be giving up a good bit of positions. That includes the spot, the Burtis, and Santer. The Zach Sky now coming up on the back of Miller. Not going to make the move now, but we'll size him up. It's turned into a three-way battle now between Sky, Miller, and Ruzick. As I believe Miller is running a one-off livery. Normally we're used to seeing him in a yellow car, I believe.
Yeah, that's unconfirmed, but that's just what we suspected.
I mean, it definitely looks new, I will say that. So, Zach Sky going down on the inside of Miller. Going to try to take advantage of that mistake. Miller going wide. Sky does have the run down here to 130R. Does he have enough power to put it down to get ahead of him? Doesn't look like it, so they will be side by side going down into 130R. Miller running it very wide. Can he hold it there? He does. No contact happening. Sky still side by side. Going for the switchback maneuver, but that position does look like it's still be Miller's right now unless Sky can do anything about it. He puts his tires in the grass, and that will not help him at all. All that time they were fighting, Ruzick not able to build the biggest of gaps for them, so still a three-way fight for now. What else has been happening around track?
Green setting fastest lap.
Ooh.
Wow.
2:15.1.
Ooh.
Snagged it by half a tenth from Alpha Dirt.
What does this mean?
The Ferrari has entered the chat.
Oh. Does this mean the track is improving?
I believe so. If you look in your top right of the screen right now, you see a little minus sign next to the rain cloud, which means the rain will get lighter, but we also have what? We have 29 cars going around the track all at the same time, so that racing line will be getting drier. So we should be seeing some faster times as Brule having a yellow, having a moment spinning out. Going to be giving up some places here down in turn 1 and 2. Catching too much outside curb, too much power. That is not the place you want to be when you spin out, though. Oh, lose it on the grass, too. Oh, he's ended up in a wall.
Oof. Just goes from bad to worse.
Not looking good for Ronin Racing as both of their drivers are down in the bottom 15 right now.
Passage is coming back, though.
He is. He's fighting back. Speaking of fighting back, Miller on Ruzick right now. Ruzick going way too deep. Miller's able to take control of that one as now Zach Sky is looking for his turn to come down on Ruzick. Doesn't look to be happening. The power of that Honda is not outpowering the power of the Ferrari right now. Sky is still sticking their nose there. Nothing going to happen as Ruzick blowing right by him in 130R.
And Unda's all over the back of Fong right now. Going through Spoon. Looking to set himself up good for the run down to 130R. And Kimball also not too far in front.
Lucas has left the race but joined us in chat. Said it was a fun race for him, so... At least he had fun after getting hit twice, he says. We're seeing another three-way battle emerge. Passage now setting the fastest lap as well. 2:14.4.
Wow.
He is going to be approaching the battle of Menzies, Lorenzo, and Robichard. And Patch very shortly. Patch leading this pack, but Robichard looks to be doing most of the hold-up behind him. Patch going very wide. Robichard trying to take advantage of this one. Not able to stick his car just enough to make him stay on the inside line. Robichard, Patch side by side going through this turn. Patch having the inside line does have the advantage here. This is a very long left-hander. So Patch will be able to make up all that time, but Robichard very late on the brakes here. Will take that position for the time being. Patch just having to thread right back in. As Lorenzo now going to be all over the back of Patch. Robichard leading this pack of 4 now and bleeding time away to Passage coming up behind him. Now Patch is not going to get passed by Lorenzo, possibly Menzies here. Patch is going way too wide. Menzies not going to be able to put the power down enough for Patch, so Patch will take that position and keep it still. Menzies all over the back of Patch now, and Lorenzo going all over the back of Robichard, and the pit window has just opened. 10 minutes on the clock to get your car in and at least refuel 1 liter of fuel. Doesn't stop as Lorenzo making the dive on Robichard. As Robichard had a moment at Spoon on the exit. Lorenzo able to outpower his car. Going to be able to take that lead and take the racing line down into 130R. Menzies going in front of Patch as Patch puts his tires on the grass. Not ideal. All 4 cars going through here cleanly, and Passage has now entered the chat with less than a second of gap to Patch. Patch having to do some evasive maneuvers, not able to predict the breaking point of Menzies. We'll just let Passage by here, and Menzies now fighting with Robichard. So much is happening.
And at an odd time, too, with the pit window opening.
Yes, Ken Miller will put his car in the pit window as Menzies is taking his car down on the inside of Robichard in turn 1. Robichard trying to hold the outside, not going to be able to do so. Menzies just holding this inside very well. Not enough speed from Robichard to hold it, so Menzies will walk away with this one. How's Zach Sky doing there?
Zach Sky's looking good.
See, he's approaching a car in front of him. I'll throw it over to Austin on who took the very first chance to pit.
Miller's up front, just leaving the pits now. He's got a bunch of clean air. I think that was the right move.
Yeah,
Followed by Aoki just leaving the pit lane now.
we have Unda and Allen, I believe, still in the pit lane. Rosa just pulled their car into the pit lane now. They might not come out with the most cleanest of air, but
Oh, what happened to Sarver?
he dropped.
we
He
miss?
dropped.
He dropped 2 positions. Oh,
yeah,
ran wide on Spoon.
There's a very bumpy road out there.
It is. I just noticed that he dropped 2 positions. There's Rigatoni.
Oh, and Spin's trying to get back on.
Yeah, that'll lose you some time. At least you didn't hit a wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're still good. Unlike Harris, who was putting their car in the grass, just trying to get out of the way like the good blue flag they are. Very unorthodox place, but you have to do whatever works. This passage pounding over the back of Robert Chardet now, coming down the 130R. Bentley versus Ferrari power currently. Will Passage stick their nose out? Doesn't look to, so we'll just stay behind a 130R. Might do something here in the chicane if they can get enough power out, but it doesn't look like that will happen. Size them up for turn 1 Passage, because that's all you can do. Robert Chardet having to take a very shallow entry into that chicane. Passage looks to be having all of the speed coming out of it. And he goes into pits. That was anticlimactic.
I don't know. Smart move.
It's smart. I wanted to see a battle, but he follows Lorenzo's and Menzies into the pits. Compton into the pit. Jack Hatch will also follow into the pits. Curtis now all over the back of Shepard. There is a GTR in the top 5, guys. Stop the presses. Oh, as I say that, GTR will not be in the top 5 anymore. Runs wide, and Burtis will take that spot.
You know, I was watching that fight. They were doing so good, and then you joined in.
Had to do it to him. Everyone taking their pits now. Durbin Legacy still they have to take their pit. We'll likely try to hold out till the very last minute. You still have just under 6 minutes to go in that pit window. Not electing to pit this lap, so we'll go around at least one more time. Rule going into the pits along with O'Houlihan, along with Farrell. Farrell has quite a bit of damage they will most likely be repairing here. What do you see on track, Austin?
I'm seeing some smart moves by some Honda brothers. We got Menzi and Lorenzo having some good races. Lorenzo started from quali bat, so he started in last.
Wow.
We got a whole bunch of people to pit ahead of him, so he's in 16th right now.
Insane. Lorenzo has taken their pit already. So.
Yep.
We're on board with Fawn right now. Shepard going to be taking their pit in P8 currently. I believe that will be the first of the top 10 to do that. Promotes Sky to P9. Passage now going to be all over the back of Patch. Seems like Patch jumped them in the pits. Vernon Racing on Ghost Rider Racing here. This Patch will just give this one up to Passage, or dare I say they go too wide down into 130R. Patch and Passage 2P is going at it side by side down the 130R. No one backing out just yet. Patch is able to hold the outside, keeping all the speed. Passage holding the inside. Will still be alongside of him here, able to make the dive. Patch going defensive. We'll keep the spot, but Passage will be all over him coming out of the chicane here.
One would say 2 peas in a pod.
Could say that. As McGinnis is again throwing a yellow flag. Passage. Not going to stick their nose out here. We'll just stay behind them in turn 1 and turn 2. Gonna need to size something up here. Coming down very shallow, into entering the S's side by side into the first S. Pat should have this all day. Passage gonna be throwing in right behind him. Is able to hold him off. Parks it right on the apex. Good blocking by him, but Passage now coming straight back. Trying to take that inside line. Does get it, but Patch will have the inside line for the next S, but not the next turn. And has a very long left-hander, so Passage trying to hold this position off. Does have to take it very shallow. Patch trying to hold all the speed out on the ass side, but Passage looks to have the right line going into the turn, and he will overtake Patch successfully.
Lorenzo also looking to get past Menzies here. He's all over the back, going up into the hairpin, and Menzies goes deep.
Burrell will now be all over the back of Misselli's after fixing his damaged car. Who has yet to pit yet, Austin? Who can we expect
I just
to see?
saw it's gonna be spicy on the exit. Interesting. I just saw 2 cars in between each other, like inside of each other.
Interesting.
Sarver.
No one wanting to give up the position.
Yeah, Sarver and Green leaving the pits together. That was unless I'm seeing double. Haven't had too many lot days.
No,
No,
Not tonight.
not yet.
not yet.
You have about 26 minutes to pack them all in, so
That's
get
for
her-
tomorrow.
Get her done.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow
yeah.
during
I
your
know who
race.
I want to avoid tomorrow.
Yeah. Speaking of our on-track action, Mr. Elbows himself, Mr. Wide, Mr. Molyneux.
What about it? Hey, don't
We gotta get you a nice little big, train whistle.
train
A
whistle.
little, like,
Nah,
conductor hat. That'd be
Alright.
perfect.
I'm gonna just stick the Y load banner on the back of my car.
There you go.
So true.
As
And
Marcelli's going off the track, gonna give this
Oh,
spot to
no.
Pharrell. There's a lot of yellow flags that have just popped up along what happened. Anything happened with you? I see Fawn now exiting the pits after yellow for whatever reason.
Oh, well, Durbin and Rigatoni are both into the pits.
Burtis followed him. Well, they have to.
How big was that gap from Rigatoni to Durbin, though? As the question, because currently it says 0.4 because they are in the pits. On stop go 30 for them.
I don't know, but Rigatoni is right there.
Yeah.
What did we miss?
This
What did I
battle
miss?
just got very interesting. Either very slow pit entry or something happened. As Menzies now on the inside of Lorenzo, side by side, going down to Spoon. Lorenzo will outdo Menzies here in power. Menzies wanting to come back, sticking their nose out on the inside line. Not able to do it. Pit window closed, so anyone that still has yet to pit, that would be Zach Sky, who does not clear his pit, I believe.
Oh, no.
We'll have to see when he comes out. Otherwise, that's going to be a very hefty penalty for him.
Is it when you enter the pit lane?
I,
Or is it clearing it?
I am unsure, and we are about to find
You're
out.
checking. You're checking.
We are checking.
4 seconds, P12.
Oh, he got the
We
green
got
light.
ourselves a ball game.
All eyes on Sky. And his green light is good, so his pit is clear. He just made it just in time, so it is when you're exiting your pit box.
Oh, and Menzies, yellow flag. Oh, it's it. Oh, boy. I hope Passage wasn't involved in that. We're going to go back.
Does seem to be the drive-by car here, at least.
Oh, why is it on Passage?
You can look over the Menzies.
Oh, Menzies is just parked there.
I just lost it. On, gonna have to take this stop go 30 here within the next lap or two. Gonna drop them down the board very far.
Now, I believe the penalty for not taking your pit stop is 160 seconds to the end of your race.
You would be correct.
Speaking from experience.
As Fong comes into the pits to serve their stop go. 30.
The
Miller.
trick is to not get another stop go
Bailey.
while serving your stop go.
Oh,
right?
is that the key? Is that
That's
what
the
it
key.
is?
That's a pretty big
Oh.
key.
Give Chad a little insight on what happened to you.
I wish I knew that.
Bailey decided to not only speed in pit lane his first time, but the second time coming around to go and serve his stop go 30. Spin in the pit lane again. So
I thought like two positives make a negative, like 1 minus 1 is 0. So like you get one, get another one, they cancel out.
I think we're gonna have to send you back to math class.
Oh well, I never did good in math, so joke's on you.
Well, Sarver and Burtis, or Sarver and Green, my apologies. Green looked to be missing his breaking point in the chicane, might have looked to gain an advantage. Probably got his first track cut warning there. So Sarver, probably not too happy about that, but still within a second of each other. Let's see, Stanter and Miller is a pretty close battle going on right now as well. Speaking of Santer and Miller, Santer going off track. There's a trade in positions there. Get a look at this. Miller going in. Berkeley finds Santer going way too deep. Ends up having to cut chicane, giving the position back to Miller, and all the time. In fact, it's about a second and a fourth.
Passage all over the back of Robichaud.
Wow.
As he looks to make it side by side, going down pitch straight.
Very rough exit from Robichaud there as they're going in turn one side by side. Passage should get this move done. He does. Robichaud decides to back out of that one. Passage coming up on the run.
Kimball yellow flag. Kimball yellow flag.
Take
a replay.
I've just
Down
lost it here.
Into Spoon. Oh, he
bumpy road.
did what Starver
boys.
did.
The bumpy road out there. You don't want to be out there. Overcorrection too.
That will do you in.
That will, as Passage gets promoted another
Oh,
spot.
and Harris also spun it.
Oh, that's heavy damage. No contact, just too much power.
Just dropped it square onto the wall.
He's still there, by the way. Has not moved an inch.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. would be upset.
Sorry, Harris.
Something tells me he's still there.
Harris, if you can't drive, there's a return the garage button. Might be faster at this point.
Lucas knows all about that. Oh, too soon. Too soon.
R115.
Sarver,
R115.
Sarver approaching green down the turn one. Nothing really going to come here as the gap is too big for a dive.
Oh, you're on this one.
I am. They will be going
Crap.
around another time.
Oh, we got a couple yellow
Ooh,
flags going
that
on
was,
here.
I think I saw a Beyblade for a second.
It's Compton.
Not what you want to see.
Yeah, he said let it rip.
Almost taking out.
Oh,
he does
Rosa.
take out.
One square onto the side of Rosa.
Not what you want to do. What you wanna
McGinnis, another
see?
yellow flag.
Not
Shout out to
beginning.
the stewards.
Yeah, they are going to have a field day with this race. I can tell you.
Harris, another yellow flag.
Sarver and Green having to pass a blue flag. Actually, almost climb with each other. Green
Ooh,
going
Sarver's
wide.
exit.
Sarver
Oh.
will take the position straight from Green. And Green now forced to chase Sarver. Blue flags will do that to you. Harris still going around?
Yeah, he just went deep into the hairpin and waited for a safe rejoin. So
Electing not the pit, too.
He takes it back. Was that given or taken?
I don't know. Let's ask Liam Neeson.
Lord.
The good Lord taketh. The good Lord giveth.
Either way, Sarver is now back to chasing Green. He's too focused on that picture-in-picture. Whatever was
The
happening.
GTR's looking good though, boys.
Somehow, some way,
Nacho.
Rain is the great equalizer, but there's two sides of the spectrum here. There's the one that has their hood bashed in, and there's another one that's Top
The
10.
duality of man.
The Ferraris look to be the very powerful car today, as all of them are within the top 12. I would say they'd all be within the top 10 if Passage was up there, but had a rough start to the race.
Never thought you'd be counting Passage out of a group.
He's making his way back. 7 seconds to Ruzik, so no small feat with the fastest lap of a 13.6 right now and constantly setting 13.9s. So let's see, someone's twerking on the grass or so. This gap between Sarver and Green grows ever so slightly. Menzies now coming all over the back of Robichard down the 130R. Menzies sticking their nose out, not going to go for the dive here. We'll just slot right back in. Robichard able to hold the car on the outside line. Menzies trying to come back down on the outside, not going to be able to get enough power down, so we'll just stick behind him. Robichard taking that shallow line into the chicane again. Menzies will have the run here, but is it enough to close that gap? Menzies taking the dry line all over the back of Robichard now. Pokes their nose out. Yellow flag behind of Patch. Not sure what happened there, as Menzies will just slot right back in. Robichard taking that outside line. What happened to Patch as we go back? Taking 130R clean.
Probably just went deep here. Sure did.
He missing the breaking point. Gonna let our by right back on. Good for him. Now we will get back to the battle with Menzies Lorenzo, who is also has Robichard in it now. Or Robichard Menzies, who has Lorenzo in it now. Lorenzo is absolutely flying through. Closing that gap very tightly on Menzies. Not going to be able to get the pass here. You see Ken Miller is also very close on Roderick's. Lorenzo taking the inside line, having to avoid a blue flag. Not going to be able to get Menzies, though. McGinnis getting out of the way nice and neatly. Lorenzo now still all over the back of Menzies. Not going to be able to have the run. So we'll just slot right back in again. Surprisingly, no one has damage group right now.
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll see Menzies having to correct their steering wheel just a little bit. We'll give Lorenzo the run down the 130R. It looks like Lorenzo also caught a little bit of a slip as well. So all three of them will just look to slot right in to this one. Lorenzo faking a little peek out. Not going to do anything with his Menzies. Holding that inside line. Almost looked like they were losing it, but held it nicely. I mean, defend and attack two cars as Robichard went deep. So did Menzies. Lorenzo going to try for the 2-for-1 here. We'll have the slipstream on Robichard down the front stretch, so let's see if he can pull it off. Menzies going to be kicking himself for that one as Lorenzo approaching Robichard. Does look to just kind of slot right in, right behind. Going to overtake it another day. Honda brothers getting all out of sorts, fighting each other. And if you're the owner of a Ferrari right now, this race is looking mighty good for you as Lorenzo all over the back of Robichard, practically touching him. Robichard doing a great job to block that apex from Lorenzo. Lorenzo just trying to get by any way he can. Not going to be able to do so. It does still open the door for Menzies here. Lorenzo trying to get power down. Actually, all over the curb. He's going to lose some speed here. Give the spot right back to Menzies. Menzies now on the run to Robichard, but needs to watch out for Lorenzo behind him.
And I believe Sarver actually just got past Green for P3.
Sarver making the climb back.
And big shout out to Sarver and Roderick's, the Audi boys, our Audi brothers, P3 and P7, representing the squad.
We don't really have any big position winners here today. No one really gaining a ton, but there's definitely a lot that have lost.
Yeah, like car 115.
Oh.
Somebody said
Biggest L.
first
The
to
biggest
last
L.
challenge.
Oh, and there's a car, blue flag Compton, sitting on the apex of Spoon, gonna mess up that pack of 3 together. We have 13 minutes left in this race, so things should start getting punchy a little bit here soon.
Passage all over the back of Rusick. Probably going to want to get him into turn 1, turn 2.
Story of his day as Menzies taking the dive on Robertshard, going too deep. Taking the chicane runoff, will rejoin safely. Keeping the position though?
He might have overtaken a little bit.
Looking for that John Deere.
Does keep the
sponsor.
position here. Not going to give it back to Robertshard as Lorenzo is now over the back of Robertshard. Lorenzo out into the grass. Not able to hold his car together. He's still sliding.
That was very Sebastian Vettel-esque.
Not sure if there was any contact here. Not sure what happened. Kind of tried to come up on the outside. Maybe jerked the wheel a little too hard. Whatever happened spells another mistake of disaster. You were on the passage battle.
I sure am.
As Menzies has now given that position back to Robertshard. Meaning that Lorenzo is not a part of the equation anymore.
Duncan steals fastest lap.
Oh,
Duncan Durbin.
Ain't over.
2:13.2.
Menzies messing up that turn. Not going to help him in the fight, but luckily for him, Robertshard is going to get caught up from some blue flags here. Return that fight as Ken Miller is approaching Jerry Rodericks very fast. One of the target boys.
Fairman looks lonely out there.
He does.
Can't relate.
I think he needs some blue flags to support him.
Yep.
Menzies is now all over the back of Robertshard. Sorry for cutting you off there, but this is a blue flag battle.
It's okay.
But go ahead.
Rigatoni also running kind of a lonely race. Got 12 seconds in front, 11 seconds behind.
Yeah, sometimes in the rain, that's what you want. The race you don't want is Robertshard because Menzies going down on the outside here, down in the 130R. Robertshard has done this before. Menzies will just back out and let Robertshard take that racing line. Menzies not missing the breaking point this time. Robertshard, very interesting interpretation of track as they just skip the curb entirely and decide to take the grass on that one. Menzies coming on the outside of Robertshard. Robertshard looks to just be giving this spot up, but will be going side by side into turn 1. Menzies has all of the space, but Robertshard late on the brake, able to stick it just in time, but will be going wide here. Menzies trying to hold the inside right back, switching back. He will hold it. Robertshard very late, very brave on the brakes. Not going to turn out for him as now Rusick and Passage are together.
Another one for Passage.
Another one.
Yep, he overtook on the uphill left-hander there. Pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
it's pretty sketch.
Yeah.
Get
I was
you,
watching
buddy.
that too.
He held it. That's all that matters, and the only thing that matters to Green right now is catching Sarberg, as they are about a second and a half apart right now. One of your closer battles on track.
Passage is driving like a man that has nothing to lose.
Well, one would say he doesn't have anything to lose.
If he doesn't get up here in the points, his team is suffering very heavily. Because his teammate is not having the best of races either.
I will tell you though, Sarver and Roderick's are sitting very nice.
Z's.
Baseline.
He has dropped very far.
Oof. Moment.
Missed the breaking
Didn't
point
catch
into
it.
the hairpin, just
Missed it.
off into the grass now. Upsetting
Passage already on the back of Sky.
casually. On is in a yellow flag up on the bumpy area of Spoon again. Not a place you want to be. You're going to let Patch and Brule by. We'll try to get back off the track again. Not the best race for him. As Ken Miller now spinning way out in the grass. Coming through turn 2 here. Not able to hold the car together. Ends up just
That's the
losing.
racing line. Oh no. Spins again. Oh no.
Yeah, there's just not looking good for Miller here.
Oh.
Is on the apex, but not much space he can go. Him and Aoki side by side now. Aoki should just get this position. Actually will not. Miller's holding that inside very well. Miller will be on the chase to Ruzek to try to get his positions back, as the passage ahead of them is fighting Sky, and then ahead of them Green is fighting Sarver. 7.5 minutes left.
It's popping off.
Green getting the slipstream on Sarver down here into 130R. Won't do anything with it. We'll just stick behind, but knowing well that he has a slipstream into the front stretch. Possibly turn 1 takeover. Sarver going extremely defensive through the chicane. Will give Green all the time in the world to catch right back up, and he will. Does he have the better exit other than Sarver? Holds on to that dry line, trying to catch the slipstream now. Don't believe there will be a small enough gap to give it to him, but he will just slot right back in, follow again. Saw passage all over the back of Sky for a second. Sarver taking that very shallow again.
They went dancing on the grass together. Or as you say, twerking.
I mean, you look at the cars. Their back end's just bouncing up and down.
Go on.
Okay.
You had me.
Biggest winner of the day so far, Lorenzo up 14 places. Biggest loser, he's in the chat.
About to be Burtis because he just wrecked right into the wall. I had to have wrecked into the wall. Definitely very close. Too much power on the exit. Does take the grass and front end smashed in. That will be a popped open hood for you, sir.
6 minutes Olympic cross.
I'm for it.
Me all popping off now. Green not having the best of sections there, so he will just fall away. And Miller is able to get past Menzies.
Finishes like this, Burtis, I think, takes P2 in the silvers. Oh.
Yeah, anything can
But
happen
I
here.
believe
Nope,
if
you-
it's...
Right
Nope.
now.
Curse.
Just don't say anything because he has Aoki all over the back. Aoki is a faster blue flag right now. And Miller does not want to give that position up, but Aoki really wants to go by. Ruzek in front of him, in front of Miller. 7/10 is your gap. Passage was able to overtake the Sky, it looks like, putting him in the top 10.
I believe Green had a moment, loses his gap to Sarver in P3.
Like he did, and that battle will fizzle out. Top 5 will most likely, well, maybe top 8, top 9.
If I can't, you can't. Don't call it. It ain't over.
Sorry.
Only I can curse.
Top 8
Curse
look to be
Lord.
settling out with each other, so that will most likely be your top 8 position, despite someone may having some mess up or passage just being an absolute rocket ship and catching up to Santer. Still on board with Miller. Trying to close the gap to Ruzek. He has 4 minutes to do so. Maybe a little bit of extra time as well.
I mean, Passage is bringing that gap down very fast.
If you bring your attention to the upper right hand corner, it's about to get a little bit wetter.
That's the way I like it.
Okay. We'll have heavy rainfall, but I don't believe it will be enough to wet the track entirely, but Nevertheless, Ken Miller still closing in on Ruzek, closing the gap very heavily, very late on the brakes. Not going to be able to hold it together. Just barely holds the car on track. Tries to make another run back at Ruzek. Does keep the gap he sustained through that mess up right there. So Ruzek not having the best of the S's either. Miller trying to get by real quick through here. The second Miller gets by through the S's. The second Ruzek falls off. Miller all over the bumper of Ruzek, trying to get it by, not able to do so. It does just have to slot in. Aoki has his popcorn watching this in his front.
And Green actually is catching Sarver at a rapid pace.
It has to be rapid enough to be able to catch him in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Miller losing all that time he gained to Ruzek. And McLaren does not like the curbs. It going a little wide in the hairpin, able to give some tense back to Miller. No one else really battling on track right yet. This is your closest battle. Right behind them, Lorenzo and Robichar. Your next closest battle was a 2nd and 2/10 gap. 2 minutes left in the race. Aoki drifting his way out of Spoon. Miller trying to closely follow Ruzek, but it's just not happening right now. There is a blue flag ahead of them, though. This could spell trouble for Ruzek. That is a damaged blue flag. Big damaged Harris, who did damage their car at, I'm pretty sure, minute 20. Still has their car out. Gonna blow right by the final chicane. Aoki very late on the brakes as well.
Big damage energy right there.
BDE.
Um,
Alright.
let's not acronym that.
No, let's do it.
Let's not.
Let's do it.
No me gusta.
I'm here for it. Come on, we can do it. Looks like
Green's got a blue flag. I don't know if he's gonna get it done on Sarver.
what you want to see, especially now. What you want to see how Miller losing it in turn 2, gonna just brush the wall. Not gonna be able to fight Ruzek anymore. Menzies a little too far back to capitalize on that one, so Miller will probably just have to settle in here. Lorenzo catching Robichard now. 45 seconds left. This will be the final lap for your leader as Durbin rounds the final corner to the finish line. Get your final lap here any second now.
Yep, he is crossing the line in about 3 seconds.
2, 1.
Alright, man, the leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
Final lap, which means everyone behind Durbin has to hit the finish line and then do their final lap. Some of these people that have just started their lap are now like, oh, I have 2 more laps to go. Yes, you have a whole another 3 minutes or some change now.
This makes back-to-back wins for Durbin.
Oh. Do we have to pull? Do we pull him in for an interview for the one?
I think we have to.
You can't give them easy ones though. It can't be yes or no questions.
Okay, then I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna hand you the mic for that interview.
Oh Lord.
Think of some questions here. Put them on the spot. And while you think of questions, we'll be watching Passage, who is now 1 second away from Santer, and 1 lap to gain it all here. Much happening. Kimball blue flag on the inside, gonna slow his progress down. Actually, Passage may just be settling in here, but he does need to catch Santer. Needs all the team points he can get. Gap closing down rapidly though. Santer not having the best of times through this S's. His car looks pristine. Passage is just better here. That Ferrari looking very strong. His Passage on the grass a little bit. Not going to corrupt him too much. Santer in the gravel. Passage is going to gain a position on the final lap. because Santer not able to hold it onto the track.
Durbin coming through the final chicane.
You say that
Oh.
Zach Sky has put it into the wall.
There it is. Durbin Legacy, back-to-back wins.
As that was happening, Sky shoving his face into the left wall. Might actually give the spot here to Ruzik, depending on how fast he is. Rigatoni going around the finish, P2.
Reed and Sarver had a great race together.
Carver had an amazing race, in my opinion. He got a little
definitely.
knocked down. But he came right back to finish P3, podium for Sarver.
Chumbawamba theme song.
Chumbawamba.
Bird
Yeah.
is finishing behind Green, then P5. Shepard coming across P6. That is a GTR P6 lead.
Robichaud.
Yeah,
you
dropped
doing?
2 positions. Yeah.
Foreseen. Passage, after getting absolutely hammered down at the start of the race, comes back, puts it P8. Able to hold off Santer for the remaining portion of the lap. Santer will come P9, Zach Sky P10, and that will round out your top 10 as all the other drivers take their time to come across the line because everyone is a little.
Robichaud, I don't know if he's trying to finish his lap or not. He's
I
got
hope
one
so.
more.
He's struggling, whatever happened.
Is a
Looks like some damage.
lot of
Maybe he's just
damage.
trying to limp across. Keep
Hey.
going.
I mean, he can't lose. He can't lose a position, so he can take it essentially as long as he needs to finish.
So what? That looks like a perfectly good Bentley.
Nice.
Does it?
Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
Okay. Because if I go to the bonnet, it looks a little wiggly.
No, that's just the way it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Silly Bentley tricks are for kids.
Oh boy. I'm sure his lights are blinking.
This is just his victory lap
Uh-huh.
for finishing.
That's one way to think about it.
Just looking at that screenshot time, getting his sponsors at green time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Who was our silver race winner? I didn't catch.
I believe it was Burtis.
Curtis?
There he goes down the final stretch.
I was sharp. Finishing. Good job.
Way to go, Robichaud.
Way to stick
job,
it
buddy.
through. Way to stick it through with us for the 1 hour of racing.
For sure.
Have interviews to do. Who can we pull? I can pull. I'm not sure if Durbin is in chat. We pulling Durbin?
We have to. He won the race.
All right, Austin. Do you have your questions ready?
Oh boy, do I ever.
Here he comes. Durbin Legacy, another race win back to back for you. How are you feeling?
Good.
Yes, there
Here it
he
is.
Austin, I will hand the mic over to you now.
All right, Durbin. So the crowd is like, Durbin, we need you to have more succinct answers compared to last week. So we're going to need you to embellish a little bit. So what set you apart from everyone else on this? How'd you stay so consistent?
I ran almost max TC and ABS.
So you just played it safe the whole way through? Did you? We weren't really watching it too much because you had such a gap. Did you keep it on track most of the time?
I spun.
You
You spun
spun.
once?
Is that what happened before the pit? Your pit there?
Yes.
Just a little
makes
Max
sense.
Verstappen, just trying to see if there's anyone behind you. All clear, get back on track, keep going. Was that what it was?
No. I downshifted too early.
Oh,
Ah, there you go. Are you excited for Coda next week?
No.
Why is that?
I don't like it.
How come?
Fair assessment.
You're not going to get that answer.
Yeah.
Austin. Asking too much.
Yeah, it's too much. But congratulations on your another win, Durbin. Growing your points in the championship. Hope you see you do it again at Coda. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Dude, that's a PB. That's a PB.
That's a
That
PB
is a
for
great
words.
interview right there.
Good job, guys. Proud of us.
All right,
Good stuff,
and
Durbin.
I think we accomplished more than we did all night, to be honest.
All
streams
right, we
ended.
have to bring Passage in.
I mean, let's get our silver winner first before we bring Passage in. Personally,
For sure.
I believe was that Burtis? Can we confirm?
I believe it was Burtis. I think it was Burtis, yes.
Chris Burtis, the silver win for you. How you feeling? Going. He's taking a pee break. Okay, we might come back.
Yep.
He's muted.
Don't blame him. I really don't blame
So
him.
we will have Ryan Passage first. Ryan Passage. I wish I could be saying congratulations on the win, but what
Even
happened?
better.
What was the incident? You fell all the way down.
Oh, boys. Well, the first thing happened is I got a drive-through right off the bat. I blipped over 70 right up the beginning.
Hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and I'll serve it right away. And I was working my way back. And you know how it is, working your way from the very back. There's tons of people battling and cars all over the place, and I was just trying to dodge. And
We
I
saw
should
Have
have
fun.
I should have dodged left, and I dodged right, and just end up spinning out
Dodge,
again.
duck,
So.
dip, dive, and dodge.
But I mean, it was still a good race. Still had some pretty solid. Went from pretty much 20 plus to ninth. So.
Yep. Bigger race. That's why we're talking to you. I actually had one question. While we were viewing all of our friends in the back, the battles, there seemed to be one constant in every accident that happened. You in the background. How'd you do it?
Was it me? I hope it wasn't me.
I mean, it seemed to be the one constant. Every single wreck that we had is just you were there, coming driving through.
Well, I might have been there, but in my perspective, I didn't hit anybody. So.
Well, we hope that you can have a better race at Coda. It is a night race. No more wet, no more unpredictability there. So, hope to see you out there. I believe you already clinched championship, so it's honestly no sweat, but your team is still battling for position.
That is true. That is true.
So, have a good night.
Yeah,
Try
thanks,
to rest
guys.
up for next week.
Yeah, things will be good. Try not to make any mistakes.
Start thinking about that shoey now.
Yeah.
I expect
Exactly.
great things.
I'm already thinking about it.
I'm
need-
expecting to call you Perfect Passage by the end of that race.
Yes.
Yeah, I think if you look back on this season, I don't think you can call me that.
Well, we'll
We'll
see.
still call
We'll
you that.
see.
Champion.
All right.
Okay. Have a good night, man.
All right, you too, guys.
Chris Burtis is still muted, so we will not be dragging him up just for the fear of social anxiety and not talking. Is there anyone else we want? Or we just close out there?
I don't know. Nobody likes talking to us, so
That is true. We'll just close it out.
World
here.
news.
Oh,
roll the
nice.
credits. Roll the credits.
Well, next
Good
week.
job, boys.
Next
Credits.
week we have Coda, the season finale, round 8. And if you're liking what you're seeing here on the stream, go over to simracingalliance.com.
First stream, guys. Give him a break. It's his first
Calm
stream
down.
ever.
I came back from COVID. Okay, first stream. Calm down. Head on over to simracingalliance.com. Sign up there. You can also join our Discord. You should probably do that. That's where we do everything. Join the Discord, get in, go through the walkthrough. We are just now starting the recruitment phase for next season. So join while you can. Reserve your spot. Essentially, do your laps. Bailey, Austin, any final words?
I'm exhausted.
Fair
Good
enough.
job, team. Proud of you
job, team.
both.
I'm proud of you. Thanks for coming back.
Well, I've been Taylor, it's been Bailey, it's been Austin. We'll see you next week in the season finale as the sun falls on Suzuka. Have a good night, everyone.
Ciao.
Later.